Great. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. This is the last day of September. This is the last day of the quarter. To some, it's good afternoon. To some, it is good very early morning. And to some, it is good night. We are running an international webinar today, and we are so excited to be here. Happy to have all of you. I see Jacqueline has logged in. I see she's logging in from Best Western Kisumu. I see we have somebody else logging in. We have Joe in the house. When you see Joe, you know there will be bananas at some point in this webinar. So the plate of lunch is ready to be served. We have these webinars at lunch hour. And so we feed our minds, we feed our brains with inspiration of things that we can do in this agenda of customer experience. And even better, guys, next week is a great customer service week. This is how we are launching it. From the best, we are hearing from an expert. Today, we are talking about customer inclusion. What are the effective strategies for success for customer inclusion? We all want to succeed. We all want to do the right thing by our customers. And so we always wonder, why customer inclusion, for example? What is it about customer inclusion? What does it take to deliver this pillar? It's an important pillar. How can we effectively drive and sustain this? And what central role needs to be played to ensure that inclusion of both internal and external customers as we celebrate them, not just in the coming week, but in every day that we do. So today we are happy to be joined by an expert in this field. Now, let me tell you who is speaking to us today. Start with the name, Julie Tano-Lawson. Julie is joining us all the way from Canada. My friends, Canada is here. She has over 15 years experience and passion for the customer experience. She has, over the course of her career, set up and directed and managed teams of customer service, customer satisfaction, and even sales centers. She has expertise in developing effective strategies and action plans, especially in implementing performance indicators. So it's not just about saying, it is in the doing and the measuring of what has been done. She's an experienced trainer, instills culture. We all know that customer experience is all about culture. And even this year, as we say that in Kenya, the CS week, we're talking about inclusion of the customers. So the culture is what will really speak into customer inclusion and its sustenance. Her strong analytical skills, her results-oriented mindset, and her ability to collaborate with all levels of management have earned her credibility and a reputation in the business world, particularly in telecommunication, banking, security services, such industries. Now, she's currently a senior consultant at Cabinet Consult CX and assists organizations in the development and implementation of customer-focused strategies. Who better to speak to us than Julie? Julie, say hi to us and karibu sana.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much. We are really happy to have you. So without much further ado, we'll let you get on to it because we say in Kenya, mambo ni mengi, masaa ni machache. It means a lot to be done. Time is little. So please, Julie, over to you.
Today, as Anastasia says, we're going to talk about customer inclusion, effective strategy for success. So now, when we're talking about customer, in companies, we have a lot of customers, right? Everybody's a lot of stakeholders, customers, internal, external, partners, everybody that is around the company is a little bit of a customer. Today, we're going to focus on two specific customers, the external customer and the internal customer. Now, the main concept we're going to work on is the employee experience and the customer experience. So now it's going to be like an engaging session where I'm going to ask you a question. I do have I do have my chat open, so I'm able to see it, Anastasia, my chat here. So if I'm going to ask you a question, then you're going to help me like make this session going on.
Okay.
So my first question is for you, what is employee experience? So pop up some answers, some words that define for you employee experience. How I feel it's time to go to work. Okay, yes, totally, effectively. Time. Okay. Okay, how I feel when it's time to go to work. How you treat your staff as management and how employees treat each other. Exactly. So a lot of what you said is part of customer experience, employee experience. So the experience is what the employee will experience with this organization. That includes interaction, impression, emotion, and more than that. And most of the time, they will express it or not, but it will always influence the job performance and the quality of the overall contribution they're going to make to the company. It even starts before hiring. Now, we do have a lot of companies now that we're going to start the process, even before they get to the company. As soon as we know that they're going to hire them, they do start the employee experience by giving them much more information about where the work is going to be, what is surrounding, or how to go to lunch, where to park their car, etc. We're going to start that. And it goes until the employee leaves the company. So it's not only, we don't do the interview, bring them inside, and then make them feel better. Even when they have to leave, we do have now some exit interview to ask them, okay, you're going away. Why are you going away? Why did you like when you were here? What do you think we can change inside the company to make it better for next people coming in? So we look at every single step the employee is going to do with the company. Now, compared to that, what do you think the customer experience is? So if we go about the customer experience, it's almost the same thing. So it's the set of direct or indirect experience a customer has with an organization that also include interaction, impression, emotion, and so on. Okay, they can express it or not, but it always influences the perception the customer will have about the company. Okay, and it's also start before the purchase and continue long after the utilization. Okay, so when we look at both, and if you see it, it's almost the same type of slide I use because there's so many common grounds in between customer experience and employee experience. So out of all I said this today, what common ground do you see in between customer experience and employee experience? Do you see anything that are alike in between both? So both of them talked about interaction in between the company and the employees, the company and the customers. Both of them talk about human. When we're talking about interaction, we're talking about emotion, we're talking about human being, human values, okay? Both of them react with emotions and perceptions. And évidemment, both of them are also exactly, as you can see, interactions, feelings, and perception. Yeah, there's some expectation. Both of them also has this expectation in regard of the company, and they're both key to the business. And most of it, both of them wants to be valued. Okay, so there's a lot of common ground between customer experience and employee experience. So what I'm going to give you as when I'm going to keep going, I'm sometimes going to make the difference between both, but everything I'm going to say can be applied to both of them, because what we want as a company now is to be able to value them, value our customers. We need to want that. Okay, it's not about saying it. Everybody say that. Every company will tell you that my customers are important for me. I've never heard a company say, oh no, I don't care about my customers. Okay, everybody's saying it, but the difference is to be able to want to do it, to make it in action inside the company. Okay. The other thing is, what are we going to do with that? We want to partner with them. Okay. Having this partnership in between customer, employees, and the organization is right now key to the growth of a company. It's not just a fluffy idea, because most of the time when we talk about customer experience, people are like, okay, yes, it's about satisfaction, but it goes beyond satisfaction. It goes also about growth of a company, about revenue, about reducing the cost inside the company. So where do we start when we want to do this type of thing? We start from the core purpose of a company. Now, I'm going to ask you, you can raise your hand. How many of you know exactly the value, the vision, the mission of your company? Know them, like written. How many? I don't see anyone. But if you know the core purpose of your company, you can raise your hand. Perfect. I do have 2 people. Now, we know that all company, 3%, okay, every company at least has that mission, vision, value, right? We all know that. But how many of them take the time after the onboarding of the employee to make that something that they practice on a daily basis, right? If you know what your company value, mission, and vision are, how do you translate that? For you, what does it mean as an employee? How do you translate that? So for the one that say that they do know the mission, vision, values, what does it mean for the employees on a daily basis? Do you know that? What that means in practical? So what we see most of the time is this gap in between the mission value that is stamped on every wall in the company and what the employee really understand about it. How to action that on a daily basis. And what does it mean for the customer? Do your customer know about your values? Yes, we talk about the value proposition for the customer, but do they know who you are exactly enough to want to bond with you? If we do have a clear definition of what it means for our employees and our customers, now we need to know on a daily basis, do they understand? Do they apply that? Is it actionable? And the customers, do they feel it? When they come with us, when they come to do business with us, do they feel these values? Do they feel this value proposition that we said we are? Who we are, do they feel it on a daily basis? So that's these are the steps you need to take first to see exactly if your value proposition as a company goes from written to real action on a daily basis with your employee and your customers. I'm not talking about the other stakeholders, but on a general overview, it should be able to be translated to every single stakeholder you have in your company, but let's focus only on employees and on customers. After this verification, if you find out that they don't understand it and the customer doesn't feel it, you need to align, okay? And this is where your strategy is going to come in, okay? To do that, you need to first see overall what are your strategy for the year, for the short, mid, and long-term strategy inside the company, because it doesn't make any sense to create a strategy that will not align with everything else in the company, right? So by knowing your core purpose, by knowing the strategy on short, mid, and long-term strategy of your company, you can then decline your customer experience, your customer inclusion, and your employee inclusion strategy also. And to define that, you're going to tell yourself, okay, what do we want to be? What do we want our customer experience to be based on our strategy and our core value? you need that, because if you find a strategy that is out of the global scope, no one will listen to you, right? In the company, because you're not following the path they're going to. And I was talking yesterday with some other CX expert, and we were talking about the fact that a lot of CX professional wants to drag everyone with them. Okay, like, let's change the mindset right away. Let's come this way, because this is where customer experience is supposed to succeed, but not necessarily going to follow you right away. Okay, because it demands change. That's something that we all as humans are afraid to do, right? If you ask somebody, everybody, do you want some change? Everybody's going to say, yeah, it's important to have change. Okay, do you want to do the change? That is another question. No one wants to do it, right? So if we want people to embrace this customer experience and employee experience culture, we need to do baby steps. And to do baby steps is to try to take what we know, our knowledge, put it inside the strategy that is already in place in the company, right? So we're going to decide, okay, as a company, what does it mean for us, including our customers, listening to our customers and listening to our employees based on what we have as a core value, okay? And then going from there, we're going to define the business process that we're going to put in place to make this strategy actionable inside, to be able to close the gap. Okay, how do we do that? Mostly by using voices. The main thing to be able to include customers and employees is to listen to them, right? And think about it. When, as a company, you have your bubble, see yourself as a bubble, okay? You live in this bubble, your environment is your bubble. What you want on the transaction and on the transactional plan, it's the customer is outside your bubble, he requests something, you put your hands out of the bubble, you give it to him, he goes away, thank you. But we're not at this stage anymore. Customer wants to live the experience. You want to keep them with you. You don't want them to be coming, doing a transaction and go away. If it's only that, well, they can do a transaction somewhere else. It's really difficult to find a product or a service that is different from something else, right? If you're looking for a shampoo, well, it's a shampoo. It can be ecological, some shampoo. It can be like sustainable, yes, but you will have thousands of shampoos that have the same characteristic. What makes the difference is to be able to bring your customers in your bubble, okay? Okay, so go ahead with transactional step, okay? And to do that, you need to know them. You need to understand them, okay? And to understand them, you have to ask them questions. You have to observe them, and you have to listen to them. At this point of, I was about to say at this point of my life, but I mean, in 2022, we all know that employees and customers want to be heard. They want to be listened. They want to be valued. They want to be part of it, okay? Most of the time, employees, and I keep saying that at every meeting I have, you won't see an employee that is hired and his first reflex is, oh my God, I have been hired. I'm now going to be lazy and not do anything in this company, right? By default, when you have new employees, they are eager to learn. They are eager to participate, to put the stone to the edifice, right? So this type of engagement, you need to keep it going on. And to be able to keep this type of engagement done, you need to listen to them. You need to give them a voice. You need to give them a space to be able to talk, to be able to take action, to be able to action on things, not just being on a repetitive thing, on repetitive work, okay? Everything that is able to show them that their knowledge is appreciated, the input is appreciated, will always make them want to stay with you more. We always want to do more for the company. And the example I keep using is when I was creating the first customer experience center for one of the company I was working for. We didn't have that much. I didn't have that much of a budget, right? The idea was, okay, create this call center and we will see about it. Okay, so with little budgets, I had 3 permanent employees that they have everything, insurance, everything that the company is able to give. But other than that, I have to hire temporary employees, right? And we all know that it costs a lot when you have a turnover in your company. So the idea was, okay, I don't have a resource to hire employees and keep them, okay, make them as permanent employees. How am I going to do that? How am I going to be able to keep them inside the team and then not go away because they don't care anymore? Well, I started by, first of all, create this atmosphere of comfort inside the team, right? I keep telling people, I didn't even give them objective. Like, I don't give them target. They decide the target. So we have an overall target, okay? And then you tell me how you think you will reach your target. So you set your own goals on a monthly basis, and we review them on the monthly basis. If you didn't reach them, well, we find another strategy. But most of the time, I was just a guide. They were the one telling me, okay, yeah, I think, you know what, I thought I would be able to do that, but I wasn't able to do it. So let me try doing this. So I will guide them, and they liked it because they had this ability to give their opinion and to be respect about it, to have a voice and to be listened, okay? My temporary employees, I didn't even have a lot of turnover. Like in the industry, like the turnover should be about 10 to 20%. I had a 3% turnover. Why? Because they like to be there. They like it because I give them a voice. I give them a choice. I give them the ability to change things inside the department. So giving a choice to your employees will help them also feel included inside the company. Because what we want, you want to partner with them. You want them to be able to say that, okay, I want this company to grow. It's the same thing for the customers. You want to be able to listen to them, to consider what they have to say. And while you do that, listening is one thing. It's great to be able to listen to them. But when you listen to them, what they're saying to you, you need to be able to action it quickly, okay? It's useless for me as an employee or as a customer to tell you what I think we should be changing, what improvement we should be doing. If you take my information, okay, great, no problem. We understand what you're saying. And then you do nothing about it. At one point, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop talking to you. And I don't care at one point. If I'm a customer, I'm going to go somewhere else. If I'm an employee, I'm going to stay. If I don't have a choice, as soon as I'm going to have a choice, I'm going to go somewhere else. So make in place a process to be able to action quickly on the feedback your customer is giving you. Customer, internal or external customer. And when you do action, what is happening is you need to be able to provide them feedback. They need to know that you took in consideration what we were talking about, what they ask about, what they suggest. You took that in action, and they need to know it. By knowing it, they will say, okay, well, they listen to me, first of all, thank you. So I'm going to keep giving them much more information because they valued what I say. Same thing for an employee. Okay, so they're going to keep feeding you, and then you're going to learn you're going to learn more about them as customers or as employees. You're going to learn more and more about them, and you're going to be able to reach out their needs, and you're going to be able to anticipate their need at one point. This is where we're going. This is what we want. And the cherry on top of the customer voice is to invite them. Yeah, to invite them to be involved. Okay, I have a client I was working with. She has I'm thinking in French, 1 second, okay? She has, I don't know what is that in English. Anyway, she has a business. She produced purse, like personalized purse, okay? Doing handmade purse, okay? And then she started asking her customers, oh, we're trying to find, we want to create a new collection. Would you like to, do you prefer this one and this one in terms of colors? And do you prefer this type of leather compared to this? So she starts involving them in the process, okay? And the more she gets them involved, the more they get interest in the product. And when the product is made, they want to come and see, they want to come and buy it, they want to come and try it, right? So it's always a cherry on top. Yes, it's good to listen to your customer, what they have to say to you. It's good to take action about what they're saying and to provide them the feedback. But the cherry on top, if you want them to be included, is to invite them, okay, to be part of your co-creation, of your changing and everything like that. You ask your customer, oh, we want to make this type of change. What do you think about it? We're like, oh my God, okay, these people, they take me seriously. They want me to be with them. And they're going to be your community. Right now, most of the big companies are creating this type of community. They want their customer to be with them, like Apple. You know, Apple is like a god. Apple product. If you're an Apple consumer, it's Apple or nothing, most of them. Same thing for Tesla. Why? Because they're part of a community. Because Tesla will listen to them. They're going to ask them questions. They're going to involve them in the process. So that's the key right now. If you want to include your customers, internal or external, you need to include them inside the process. Okay? There's something called internal customer service. Okay? What is it? It's the fact that when we talk about employees, we most of the time think about there's one department, another department, and they're supposed to work together, okay? But it's supposed to be more than that. It's supposed to be being able to service your colleague, to service your team member, your boss, okay? If we have this mindset of service, internal service, okay, we will work to make the processes flow, okay? If the process is fluid internally, for sure we're going to be able, it's a big step to deliver a great customer experience, because when the process is fluid inside, well, that makes the customer's life easier, okay? So it's really important to have this mindset of making things easy for everyone, internally or externally, okay? Why? Because internally, if I have to work and I have to fight with my colleague to make my case move on, well, I have less engagement inside the company, right? People are like, okay, well, you know what? I want to serve the customers. I'm calling IT about the customer's issue. No one is answering. I don't understand why it's taking 3 days to give me this answer. It seems so easy. How come I can't do it? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the other thing it is that it's important because it will help you improve all the time your processes. Okay. When you improve the processes, you create consistency. To be able to do that, you need to have this mindset where you want to break silos. That's a really, really big issue right now. No matter the continent, every single company, the big issue that we're having right now is to be able to break the silos inside the companies. You're going to see people saying, oh, no, it doesn't concern me. I'm sales. I'm done selling. Now it's your problem. Deal with it. Well, it shouldn't be like that. It's still our customers, all of us, right? So create and to break these silos, find a way to create a collaborative workshop most of the time about issues. In this type of collaborative workshop, what you make them learn, the first step is try to map the process for everyone. Like you have people from different departments, different level also. So it's not just employees, first level employees together, but you mix them with management, with VPs, inside this workshop, and we each talk about, okay, this is the process in, okay, when the customer starts at sales, we have to do this, but well, we can't do it for more than 2 days because the compliance department takes 5 days to complete the process on their side. So that's a frustration, for example, for the sales department. And then you're going to ask the compliance, okay, why does it take you 5 days to do this? And then we're going to explain. And then together, first of all, the sales department is going to understand how the process works on the compliance department first. And secondly, well, you can work together to try to make it less than 5 days so that the customer at the end of the day gets what he wants easily, quickly, and the employees internally are better served. I was working with a company and they put something in place. And at first I was like, really? And after I'm like, oh yeah, that's when someone internally call you, you don't just take your phone and say, hello. It's like, sorry, I'm laughing about that. But like, no, everybody has to say, hi, it's Julie from the I don't know, IT department. How can I help you today? So they change the process internally. And so instead of having people that don't care about you, they try to create this sense of service internally. And at first, I found it weird, like the way they were doing, but on the long run, it did change the way people were interacting with the other person on the phone. It changed the way they were interacting even in person, because they created this mindset of, he is my customer. Okay, the IT department, the sales department, they're all my customers. The only customer is not the one from the external point of view. Also inside the company, we do have this type of internal customers. Okay, so having that, saying that, I know that time is running, so I'm gonna run also. So the reason it does matter, okay, to create this sense of inclusion, so listening, breaking silos, including the customers in the process. It matters to understand why it matters. I'm just going to give you some stats because I talk a lot and stats talk much more, right? Okay, first statistics. So I'm going to talk about the employee experience, employee inclusion. Business with engaged employees see a 41% reduction in absenteeism and 17% increase in employee productivity. So just for that, it's a reduction of costs, to be honest. You know, people coming to work because they like coming to work instead of saying, no, I'm not going. I don't like my boss. He's going to scream at me again. I'm not going back to work. Just that, it's a reduction of costs for a company. When we see that approximately 92% of workers say that when they recognize for specific tasks, they're more likely to do them again in the future. What does it mean? If I'm valued in this company, I'm eager to do it again. I'm eager to continue. I'm eager to put my head there, my mind here, my heart in this company. So it's really important for companies. So it's not just about making people happy, which is great, but the value also is monetary for a company to work on the employee experience, okay? These engaged employees, so these stats are mostly from North America, but for lack of stats in Africa, I'm taking these ones for you. But the mindset is the same, the same thing, okay? These engaged employee cost organization an estimate 450 billion. So it's a cost when your employee doesn't feel valued, doesn't feel that they recognize inside your company, okay? On the other side, on the customer experience side, 85% of all customers find a positive experience with a brand to be more influential than great advertising. Think about it. If I find it great to go in your store or to go in I saw Best Western, I like the service at your Best Western. If I have to come back like in this area again, why would I go somewhere else? I have no reason to go somewhere else. Okay, so yes, it's really important to include your customer, to listen to them. Okay, 60% of consumers report that they will become repeat buyer after a personalized purchase. Same thing here. Now, think about something. I want to buy something. Let's say I want to buy, I don't know. I'm looking for a place to go do a massage, okay? And the first reflex I'm going to have is ask around me, right? So if you don't have ambassadors, customers, who's going to refer you? Okay, but I'm the customer, I'm looking for a place for a massage. And Anastasia is my friend. And she said, oh my God, I tried this place and it's amazing. And they treat me this way. And this is what they do, etc., etc. First of all, I'm feeling what Anastasia felt when she went there. So that gives leverage to this store, right? Because I'm going there, but I'm already excited to go there. Okay. I get there, and well, the service is not as good as Anastasia told me. My first reflex will not be, okay, this is crap place. I'm not coming back anymore. I'm going to think, oh, well, maybe today is different because Anastasia felt something different. I should try it again. So that gives you much more leverage when your customer are your ambassador. So you want your customer to be your ambassador, and to do that, you have to listen to them. You have to talk with them, and you have to include them all the time in all the decisions you make. My best stats, I talk about this one all the time. 80% of entrepreneurs believe they provide a superior customer experience, while only 8% of the customers believe they receive a superior customer experience. Why is that? Because companies don't listen to the customers. They guess, oh, I think that if we do this change, the customers will like it. Well, you need to ask your customer about that first, to know that, to see if first, this is the change we're looking for, okay? Ask them, what type of change would you like to see happening? Don't just throw something at them that is new. I was talking with a client last time, it's like, oh my God, my bank, they're changing the banking app all the time. And I'm like, right, we're not saying anything. As soon as you get used to it, they change it again. And I was like, why don't they ask the customer if this is where there's a pain for them? Is it the place they want to see change? So instead of they're trying to create an amazing experience, but they're creating a pain for the customers without even knowing why, because they don't ask them. They just guess that that might be a good thing to do for the customers. So if there's one thing to take away from this webinar, is you need to ask your customer. You need to listen to them. You need to ask them questions. And when you get these answers, take action about it. Create this mindset in your company where everybody has this habit of asking, how is it going to affect the internal or the external customers? Every time you have to change a process, you have to put a new product in service, ask these two questions. How is it affecting the customers, internal or external? If the answer is positive, keep going. If it's neutral, you can still go, right? Because it doesn't affect them at all. But if your answer is a negative answer, you need to go back and rework this situation. So that's it. Do you have any questions?
Fantastic, fantastic. We want you to go on and on because it's so relevant to what we have. You can see on the chat, Diane saying, this is so true. The reason some of us are at organizations such as Toastmaster International, despite becoming competent communicators, is because of the community. The customers have formed a community, a sense of belonging, speaking into the inclusion you're telling us about. Joe is saying that another way of cost management is when employees are engaged, they volunteer to go the extra mile, meet the deadlines and wow customers without asking for overtime. So you would rather have people volunteering to work more, and so they deliver more. Thank you so much for those lovely contributions. It's time for questions, like Julie has said. Let me check if I have questions coming up.
Okay,
with
perfect.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julie. You spoke about breaking down the mission and the vision as we onboard the employees for employee experience and then making that into daily. So I think for many of us in the onboarding process, we onboard and talk about the mission, the vision, the values, mandate, and all, but how to break it down into a daily practical actionable thing is what we might not quite know how to go about. How would we do that so that it's a daily conversation? Julie?
Well, the thing is, let's say you know your vision, your mission. For the employee, how does it translate that in his work? That's what I mean. So how the mission, so give me your mission or your mission and your value proposition. And I'm going to try to figure out. Can you give me?
All right, our mandate, yes. Let me tell you our mandate, which is what we run with most heavily, is partnering with our customers to provide them convenient financial solutions. So we partner with our customers to provide them convenient financial solutions.
Okay, so here, the two keywords that needs to be worked on daily is partnership and convenience. So on a daily basis, does he make his work reflect the fact that the customers in front of him or the customer that is on the front, on the other side, a partner, when taking decision inside, like when working on the case, a customer case, does he think of the customer as a partner? Does he try to make it convenient for the customer? The result of his case that he's working on, is it going to be convenient for the customer? So that's what I'm saying. They need to take this vision that they see on the wall and translate that on the daily work, okay? And keep that in mind when they're working. If the process,
making sense.
If the process they're putting in place doesn't fit, like end with the convenience of the customer, well, it's not living the mission and the vision.
Right. Making sense. So every day I ask myself, whatever is on my desk, whatever I am doing, whatever interaction I am having, what are my keywords from that vision mission? And is it translating into that on a daily?
Exactly. And that comes from the top management. Like you guys, well, I say you guys, but I mean top management has to live that on a daily basis. If you want to translate something to your oh my God, I'm speaking in French, to your to your employees, okay, they need to feel that you think about partnership and convenience for the customers in everything you ask them to do. So if you're making things more complicated because that's the way you do it, well, you're not living it, and we're not going to live it also.
Great. There's a Rose asking, how do you ensure consistency? I think you spoke about consistency, and she's asking, what are the habits for consistency?
Well, consistency means to be able to have consistency, you need to have a process. You need to have a good process, and you need to have people accountable for this process. If the process is when a customer comes, the first step is this. To handle the first steps, it takes 2 days. The person in charge is this person in this department. And then after that, the next step is this step. The number of time to do it is this step. So if the more the process is clear, the more everything is going to be consistent. Because if a process is supposed to take 3 days, well, it's supposed to take 3 days. And you need to make people accountable for this process.
So accountability, making people accountable for consistency. We have Collins asking, in what way can an employee create a good customer experience to a colleague without necessarily having the involvement of the organization?
On a personal level, the way you treat your colleague is the first step to create a good customer experience. You might not have all the leverage that you need to resolve a situation, okay? it might be difficult if there's some resistance on the higher management, right? But if the higher management is willing to take suggestion, you can bring what you live on your daily basis up on the upper level to make some change. But on the personal level, the way you answer them, the way you treat their requests, the way you, even if I can't do anything to help someone, the way I'm gonna tell them is gonna make a difference. Okay. So yes, on a personal level, if we leave everything else, the way we treat people and the way we talk with them, we interact with them is a personal way to create a good experience or not with them. And something that I keep asking people to practice is, I ask most of the people to practice positive language. You can ask me, I would like this blue pen tomorrow. Let's say it's only available in 2 days. I'm not going to say, no, you won't have it tomorrow. I'm going to tell you the only time it's going to be available is in 2 days. I'm just saying no without saying no. So practicing also positive language on a personal level help you create good experience.
Positive language, that's a very key takeaway.
Yeah.
To say no without saying no.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that.
Absolutely. I think we can take one more question. Somebody is asking, how do we measure alignment? How would we ensure that we are aligned?
First of all, to measure alignment, you need to know exactly what it means, what you're trying to align. Okay, so let's say we have this core value. Okay, now we translate it to what does it mean for our employee? Okay, and what does it mean for our customers? So let's say we know that means that the employee on a daily basis should be able to do this and that and that and that. Okay, so you know exactly what it means. To align, you need to make sure that the perception, what we're living, okay, is close to what it means. So that's how you align. You're trying to close. The more you close the gap in between what it is in real life and what you want it to be, is the way to align it. So closing the gap, trying as much as possible to make it what it means, is how you align inside your company.
All right, thank you very much. And another question is, what are the practical ways of engaging and getting customer input and participation in co-creation of products, processes, and services? This is over and above the voice of the customer and survey. How would you create functional customer communities?
That starts with trust. You need to make your customer trust you. For your customer to trust you, they need to find that what you're saying you're going to offer them is what they're receiving. That's the first step to create trust with their customers. Okay. Second way to create trust is to make them feel that you are there for them, not the way around. Okay. If I feel as a customer that, well, they're just there to take my money, I'm not going to trust you enough to be part to enter in your bubble. Okay, so create the trust at first, and then after the trust is there, you can ask them more. If a customer likes your service and really is your ambassador, ask them whatever you want, not without exaggerating. They will answer. They will want to be part of it because they like it being with you. So the first step is to create the trust.
Julie, I'm being asked here, how else can we get Julie? There has been so much value. Could you please give us your contact, something that we can get through to you?
Okay, I should have thought about that. Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn. You will find me on LinkedIn under Julie Tano Lawson. Okay, and I'm really available for question and anything. And my website is just under here, expertcx.ca. So this is the website of my company. So I will be delighted to continue the discussion with anybody.
Great. That has been such an amazing afternoon. We have learned. We actually have tips. We have buzzwords. We have things that we can actually implement as we begin the customer service week on Monday. So we are not just appreciating our customers, we are ensuring that we're including them. not just the external customer, but the internal customer. Thank you so much, Julie, for that dose of wisdom. Would you give us your final words before we close?
Final word is, for me, customer experience, employee experience is in 2022 the only differentiator between companies. For me, that's it. So don't miss the trend, embarking the customer in the CX trend, and let's make growth.
Wow, highly quotable. We shall be quoting that because we need to just paste it and remember in this 2022. And in the era of monitoring and evaluation, we shall be coming back to you to see what have we done. We want to create this community today that has been here listening and saying that this is what we shall change. We'll come back to each of us and tell each other what have we changed, what have we learned, so that we can continue to grow this CX community and our customers can be able to grow their businesses out of the wisdom that we have had today. With Julie's permission, we shall be sharing her presentation. So please leave your contact. We'll be sharing a link so that you can join in, so that we can be able to share this wisdom and learn with you. Yes, there is a link so that we can send your presentation. We want to also affirm that your data is confidential with us, so that it is not going to be an open way of sharing the information. It is going to be very highly personalized. As we come to a closure, we want to thank you so much for your participation. We want to thank you so much for being here over lunch hour. And guess what? I have some goodies. There were some people who were highly participating. And so we want to thank them. And my team, we had a team that was checking out, the auditors. They have told me that we have Judith, we have Jackie, we have Joe. So Judith wins a bottle, Springboard Capital bottle. Jackie wins a mug, and Joe wins a polo shirt. Polo shirt, my friends. That is a lovely. And of course, Julie, we will be sending a package your way. You have to get all these three, having given us this lovely presentation. This is coming to you courtesy of Springboard Capital. We are a microfinance, credit only, microfinance lending hand. We don't just give you money to run your businesses. We actually offer you solutions. We listen to you. We care about you. And so we give you, as the lending hand, the opportunity to grow your business, capital investment, anything you want, name it. And of course, such value-adding webinars. We are keen on educating you to ensure that we grow together. We want to be part of this great community that is doing very well. And we are happy and very proud of all our customers who have joined in, all our friends who have joined in. I wish you a lovely afternoon. Great customer service week next week. It starts now. We want to say it is officially open. We are open to celebrate our customers. We are open to do customer inclusion. Have a lovely afternoon, everybody. Totally appreciate you.